Mbappe to Real Madrid as a free transfer this coming summer feels almost inevitable. There's more and more rumours that Real Madrid have made contact, that Mbappe is open to the move, and with his contract being up this summer, PSG must be thinking their prized asset, their £200 million player, their World Cup winner, is going to walk out the door for nothing, and he is going to go to Real Madrid, and he is going to usher in a new generation of Galacticos that Real Madrid have been quietly assembling over the last 2 years. It's not been too quiet over the last 6 months, obviously, with Jude Bellingham crash landing in La Liga and making the place his own very quickly. In the video today, we're going to have a look at exactly what the impact would be on this Real Madrid team of Mbappe coming in the summer, but also how will the rest of the dominoes fall? We know that there is some players that won't be at Real Madrid for much longer, and there's other players that are linked to be coming in also. And like I mentioned a moment ago, this does feel like the next generation of Galacticos. And when I look at how this squad might pan out over the next, 2 years, the next 4 or 5 windows, it is frightening. At any point, if you do laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe to the channel. We're pushing for 10,000 subscribers. And we cannot do that without your support, guys. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and get into the comment section and let me know who is the transfer that Real Madrid need the most to take them into that undeniable Galactico situation where the full 11 is world-class superstars. And let's just get stuck straight into it. Now, Real Madrid's last game of last season was against Athletic Bilbao at the Bernabeu, and they drew 1 each. And I think this game here shows you quite clearly the way Real Madrid have been set up and the way they've been playing for as long as most of us can remember, really, at this point. 4-3-3, great technique and great energy in midfield, and then obviously a front three of killers, guys that will score 40, 50 goals, all competitions, all season long, no problem whatsoever. And here in the first game of the season, we can see quite clearly the change we've had at Real Madrid since Benzema's left. We don't see that same 4-3-3 formation that we've seen from Ancelotti from Real Madrid over the last 5 to 10 years. It's much more of a diamond midfield with 2 up front. Now, Real Madrid have played that way before in the past when they had Kaká, and in other periods as well when Marcelo and Carvajal were in much better fettle. I know they've had guys like Bale and Ronaldo always in the wings, but in different games they have played in different formations, and we've seen that diamond midfield from Ancelotti and from Real Madrid a couple of times over the years in a few different managers. So not a huge surprise tactically, but quite different to what they've done before. And when you consider the fact that they've built their midfield around the way they used to play, the old system, it looks a wee bit crowded, and that's why Bellingham is getting that special role in the attack of midfield. So if Real Madrid are currently playing 2 up top, and one of them is Vinicius, how can you possibly push the boat out so hard to go and get Mbappe? Because he isn't a guy that plays as part of a front 2. He's not a central striker. He actually wants to play in Vinny's position on the left wing, cutting in on that right foot. So it doesn't feel quite obvious where Mbappe would fit, why they would want him so much beyond him being Mbappe, of course. But when we have a look at the squad and how it's laid out at the moment, Bellingham is the main man in that number 10 position at the moment, because the rest of midfield is quite crowded. We still have Kross and Modric, bona fide legends at the club, as well as Valverde, who's been distinctly world class for the last 3 or 4 years. And then we have the likes of the wonder kids have been bringing in already. Tchouameni has hit the ground running in a big way. Camavinga's already won the Champions League. And this summer we did see Arda Güler also come in, be very impressive in pre-season, and he's got a big injury, so we've not seen much of him. But sprinkled into that, the likes of Ceballos, Brahim Diaz, and Lucas Vazquez. There's a lot of options here for a lot of the same areas, maybe not quite in that destroyer, Casemiro defensive midfield position that Tchouameni has pretty much had to his own when he's been fit. Camavinga can play in here as well, so some good versatility, but beyond these two, there's not really anyone that could make defensive midfield really their own. So the midfield situation is what really causes the change in formation first and foremost. Joselu does play on occasion instead of Rodrigo if they need a wee bit of a predator, a wee bit of a finisher in the box, a bit of a poacher. But Rodrigo and Vinny have been played more often than not in the bigger matches to give the width in here, and Bellingham can just kind of fill in to be a bit of a false Benzema, as he's kind of became. And then Real Madrid can still keep this formation they have in midfield, the same sort of tactics with the fullbacks and how the defence play. So it's been minimal disruption in that sense, okay? Now, Lunin is out of contract in the summer. Kepa's on loan, and Courtois is injured for a lot of this season. Militao is out for the season, basically. So in these defensive areas here, there's not too much going on. We've got Nacho as a fill-in right centre-back. We've got Fran Garcia as a left-back. And we've got Alba, Mendy, Rudiger, and Carvajal. It's very, very thin in defence. So it doesn't feel obvious on any level, really, that Mbappe should be coming straight into this team in the summer. Now, I do think that if he was to come in right away, he could easily replace Rodrigo. And with the way Real Madrid dominate the ball, Vini and Mbappe can swap sides. They can double up on one side and really bully a weak end of the pitch, potentially if they can get good support. Valverde's very good at occupying wide spaces from midfield. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was some sort of creative solution in the first window once Mbappe does join this summer. But I do feel that there's a lot of moving pieces here that as soon as a few of them do kind of move around, Real Madrid can quite quickly go back to that old formation and maybe go and sign some more players and really cement this on further. So we know Kross, we know Modric are not going to be here forever. They've probably only got another season, another 2 seasons at the most left to really give this Real Madrid team what they have been. Vázquez, Brahim Diaz, Ceballos, Nacho and Fran Garcia we can forget about as incidentals. But as you can see quite quickly, once you move this team on a season or 2, we could easily get back into a situation where Real Madrid have a midfield free of like Tchouameni, Valverde, Bellingham, or Camavinga can come into this as well, or Arda Güler could come into this potentially as well. And then in the wide areas, you could have Vini, Mbappe. Rodrigo's still going to be in the picture. He's just signed a new mega-term contract. But in January, Real Madrid will be bringing to Spain, finally, Endrick. So if Endrick was to come in this January, we get Mbappe in the summer, then it's conceivable that in some matches, as they bring Endrick through, they could play the old school 4-3-3 and start to bring him through. But like we've seen in the past with Vinicius, with Rodrigo, and even Reinier, who's out on loan in Italy at the moment, who's I think on his 3rd loan spell after Borussia Dortmund and Girona previous to that. The Real Madrid don't always throw these Brazilians that come in at the age of 18 in the deep end. They still have some progression to do. So I don't think Endrick is going to be in and playing all the time. And there's always that possibility that Endrick doesn't live up to the potential and doesn't become who people think he is, which is why some of the speculation to Erling Haaland just will not go away. I think everyone has this conception that post Man City, it has to be Real Madrid for the big Viking. And if this is the team that he's walking into, then this is going to be a Galactico level midfield and attack up there with the best Galactico that we've ever seen. The Zidane, the Ronaldo, the Figos, the Beckhams, the peak times. Now, Haaland is going to be a couple of seasons away to say the least. Mbappe feels like it could be this summer. Endrick is going to be this January. But what actually could they spend money on this summer? And a few of the links that just won't go away is Bundesliga fullbacks. Alphonso Davies has been heavily linked to be the next Marcelo to come into this left-hand side. And if you can imagine a Real Madrid team with Alphonso Davies on the left, with Vini, Mbappe, we can forget Haaland at the moment, even this Endrick, with Bellingham, Camavinga, look at this. This would be absolute destruction. Add on top of that, for absolute symmetry, the fact that they are getting linked relentlessly to Jeremie Frimpong as well, who has basically became a right winger, a right attacker at Bayern Leverkusen this year. And he's really one of the best in Europe, so I think he would hit to this level very well. And over the last couple of days, I've started to see Real Madrid getting linked to going back to the well. Real Madrid love to buy players from the Portuguese league. They've done it for as long as time has been going, and they're back again, and they're going to go for another defender, and it looks like it's going to be Portuguese international Goncalo Inácio from Sporting Lisbon. This guy's won the league in Portugal. He's got Champions League experience. He's a very good, dominant, progressive passer, very good one-on-one defender as well. I don't know if he would come in place of Alba or Rudiger, but he can play either side of defence, no problem at all. And this guy's in his early 20s still. So this guy has a lot of legs in him, and he's a player alongside the likes of Frimpong, Davies, Tchouameni, Camavinga, Bellingham, Valverde, Güler, Mbappe, Endrick, Vini. This could be a Real Madrid team for 10 years. This could be a genuine Galactico dynasty. Real Madrid have got the most amount of Champions Leagues in European football history at the moment. And I think like this season might not be their year. Ancelotti might be leaving. Maybe we see Xabi Alonso become the next Real Madrid manager in the summer. Who knows how all that will shake out. But it does feel like there's nothing to worry about at Real Madrid. They're still very firmly got both hands on the wheel. Yeah, they might not win the Champions League this year. Yeah, La Liga looks like it's going to be a bit tricky, a bit tough. But we might be about to see the most exciting Real Madrid team ever. Let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. Who else could they add into this picture to really cement that Galactico level squad? From the goalkeeper to the striker, world-class, top talents, undisputed, best in position. That is the Galactico way. That's what we've seen from Real Madrid all over their history. And it looks like they're at it again, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. On screen now some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this one and stay out of trouble.